Hi, and welcome to Coaching with Humango. I'm Coach Rae, the Master Triathlon Coach at Humango. This is going to take you through the user journey of what it's like as a coach to apply your specific methodology and thinking to each and every one of the athletes that you're coaching. Coach Pav is also going to take you through the experience of leveraging groups within Humango to even further enhance the athlete experience. Let's get started, shall we?
What I personally love about Humango is that I can apply my methodology and my thinking to each and every phase of an athlete's journey. And what I mean by that is, once I've set a goal for an athlete, within each of the phases of that training journey for that particular goal for my athlete, I can select each of those phases and customize based on my thinking and my methodology and what I know about that athlete. So looking here, you can see I can change the sport distribution for that phase, the amount of hours spent training all of those sports. I can even change the energy distribution. So specifically what energy distribution I want to apply across that training phase, given the date range for any particular phase of an athlete's journey. And to me, that becomes really powerful as a coach because now I'm articulating absolute specifics around sports trained and energy distributions trained within each of the phases of an athlete's journey. We know here at Humango that the relationship between the athlete and coach is critical, and how you manage that is also very critical and often reflective of the level of coaching service that you're offering your athlete. So I want to show you here where you can change the Hugo settings, the Hugo settings being the representation of the AI analyses and how that information is either being fed to you and or your athletes. So within each of your athletes' cards, there's some settings relating specifically to Hugo. Hugo's personality can be set here, which is really important if you know the personality of your athlete. You can turn the Hugo tips on or off, totally up to you. Once again, I'm trying to demonstrate here that everything around the AI presence is controllable by you, the coach. You can determine how far ahead your athlete sees their program. When it comes down to the automatic replan option, the feature that allows the AI to realign the training based on compliance and availability, sports of training and progression for the athlete, this feature can be turned on as an automatic function, meaning that whenever a significant enough event happens and the AI identifies this, an automatic replan gets initiated and the training schedule gets realigned. If this is turned off, what that means is you as the coach are the one in the driver's seat for when that automatic replan happens. Some coaches are happy to have that on, and I believe there will be a lot of coaches that would be happy to know that they're in the driver's seat when it comes to that feature, and the automatic replan is only happening when they are initiating it. Now, come on down to the Hugo feedback, the notifications. You can have these turned on or off, and you can also set where you would like that information to be sent. So when it comes to plan feedback, how you're setting up the plan for the athlete, specific activity feedback on a day-to-day, weekly feedback summaries, phase feedback, and fatigue detection, you can determine if that athlete is receiving those messages from Hugo, or if in fact you want to package that information up and deliver that to them in your own voice with your own tone directly to your athlete. This is a way that a coach can establish the level of coaching service that they want to offer and effectively the amount in which the athlete is going to hear from the coach or not. As a coach, one of the great features that we have around time zones is being able to manage your athletes that you're coaching who live in different time zones. When you select on the athlete, you're going to get an option to either keep the current time zone view, which is the current time zone that you are in, or you can continue to view that athlete's profile and their calendar with their local time. So just simply by selecting that, that now means that by default, you will be viewing that athlete's calendar in their new time zone. Now, all these sessions here are showing that for Eric, this workout is scheduled for 6 a.m. This one is scheduled for 6:35. The ability that a coach has to be agile in the sports that an athlete is training is pretty critical. Being able to move from a multi-sport goal, for example, to perhaps a single sport running or cycling goal or a fitness goal in the off season is a huge benefit as a coach, because at any one point in the year, you have the ability to engage with the athlete and be flexible and fluid with what they're wanting to achieve. One of the overarching aspects to this is selecting in the default option for the athlete what sports they're training. And you can turn these on and off by coming to the athlete sports up here and selecting the sports they want to train at any one particular time. Of course, these need to marry up with the goal that the athlete has in Humango at any one point in time. And when I tend to use this the most is when we're transitioning from a competitive season to an off season or a maintenance season, where maybe they're moving from training all 4 disciplines to 1 or 2 of those disciplines and adding a different kind of goal. So you can come here and you can also set the minimum workout duration for that particular sport, how that sport's being guided. So, that's another aspect as a coach that can be very beneficial. If you have a new athlete, say, for example, and they don't really know what heart rate zones are, you can set that to RPE here. So it's a very valuable tool to be able to push different kind of metrics to guide the workouts for the different level of user. And, depending on what terrain they're on, say, for example, you might be wanting to set this to heart rate or power. If maybe, say, for example, it's an indoor, controlled environment where power is much more useful. And when it comes to swimming, you can also set the default pool size that the athlete is using as well. So a lot of flexibility here to move in and out of different seasons and different sports as the athlete's progressing through their annual plan. Okay, once we've set up the sports for the athlete, you're going to come on over here to metrics, drop down on the right-hand side, and set up all of the performance metrics for this athlete. You can see here under general, there's a couple of drop downs. You can see the zones, general health metric zones based on maximum resting heart rate. Come on down here to height and weight. You can get very specific. And down the very bottom here, if you are not getting accurate or complete data to establish a baseline fitness for your athlete, you can manually add that here. And you can also pre-select their fatigue tolerance here as well. As you come along to each of the sports, the toolbar up here, you can then customize the threshold zones and training zones for each sport that the athlete is training. So you can see here, I can select this drop down, power zones, pace zones, heart rate zones. I can add an estimated threshold here. If you happen to know some of the performance metrics from a previous race or from a data set, you can add this in here. You can select the total time that distance took that athlete to complete, and you can create an estimated threshold here. You can also add a user metric, just noting here, there's 3 different ways that you can do this. Priority means that is held in that athlete's profile forever until you manually change it. Manual means pretty much the same thing, except for it has a valid end date here. And an estimate means that you are actually putting an estimate into the system and allowing Hugo to calculate and update that on the fly as the athlete is progressing through their journey. You can come in here and edit the zones. You can get very granular and specific if you wanted to change that. Within each of the zones, you can also do that here. So you can see very quickly, there are lots of ways that you can articulate your own methodology in your coaching by simply prioritizing, manually entering, or estimating threshold paces and zones for your athlete. Now, as you get to know your athlete better and better, more and more, you learn about their schedule, what they're able to do on what day, how long they have to train, what sports they're able to train, how they have access to facilities, and on it goes. So the level of customization that you're able to create for your athlete comes down to the overarching default availability that you establish for your athlete and their training progression. So you can come here, looking at the default availability, establish the maximum number of hours that athlete can train in general, and the number of training sessions per sport that they can train here. You can change this in the system right here with a simple click. You can come on down now here to each of the days of the week. You can either take a day off, you can set it as a long training day, you can set the number of minutes per day that you want that athlete to train, and you can turn the sports on and off here as well. If you want to get very granular, you can determine whether that's a trainer or an outdoor session and the number of minutes that you would like that athlete to train that particular sport on any one day. And by going on down the week and selecting all of the minutes of training and the sports that you want that athlete to train, you can establish their default availability, thus getting very customized with how their training is actually prescribed. One of the most important aspects of coaching is being able to apply your own methodology and your own thinking to the training and racing experience of your athletes. In Humango, this can be most effectively applied by coming down to seasons and looking at two levels within a goal that you're creating for your athlete. Say, for example, here, this goal has been created with a specific priority, which determines how long the taper is and how long the recovery is. And within these cells, each of the sports have been specifically prescribed based on numbers of sessions per week for this athlete. But here is where it gets really fun. If I go to the advanced settings here within this goal, not only am I looking at the number of training sessions per sport per week, I'm also able to add the sport distribution for this particular goal. So I'm looking specifically at how much time that athlete is training each of the sports based on their history, their goal set, and what they're ultimately looking to achieve completing this race. I can also select a profile here for the race, and I can also select the terrain that they're going to be racing on, add a course map, and that will actually help inform the race predictor once that athlete has got all their training under their belt and is ready to perform on race day. Now, this is the first step of customization as a coach. The second step gets really fun. So within that goal, if I scroll down here to have a look at the phase in which the athlete is currently in, as an example, I could simply look at this build phase here. This build phase runs from the 15th of April to the 19th of May. I can come here and edit it. And within this phase, within this goal, I can then alter that distribution here. And within each of the sports, I'm also able to set the regular and max long ranges of the total time spent for each of the sessions over the week. And I can redistribute the energy focus for this particular phase for this athlete's journey. So if I wanted to make this a little higher intensity, I could shift some of the endurance, say for example, over to threshold. I could apply that to this phase of the training, and that methodology would be applied to that specific phase. This is super exciting because it allows a coach to be able to manipulate the training prescription with a press of a button and ensure that your methodology is applied to that athlete's training journey. Effective and consistent communication is critical in the athlete-coach relationship. And in Humango, we make it super easy for the athlete to communicate with you as the coach and let you know how they're going on a day-to-day basis. So while subjective feedback is really critical, in conjunction with the data analytics from the AI, putting these two things together creates an incredibly rich athlete journey. So not only does an athlete get the opportunity to tell you how they're traveling on a day-to-day basis, within each of the workout cards, they also have an opportunity to tell you how they perceive their training session to have gone. So they have the ability to add notes, perceived exertion, let you know what their mood was, and that creates a report and a story over time. Your athletes also have an opportunity organically to simply message you in the app and let you know how they're going, ask questions, and get feedback. The workout library in Humango is extensive. It represents the database from which the AI selects the most appropriate workout on any one given day, given that specific setting for the athlete. If you go down to the workout library, as just a quick demo, if I were to select running and do a search for the library, what comes up is every single run within the workout library. What's important to note here is every workout has a series of indexes. We call this a workout family, enabling the AI to select the absolute best workout based on time in zone and energy distribution for that particular athlete, given all of their specific settings. Also important to note is that you can import a workout and bring that into your own customizable workout library. Once your athlete gets going on their training journey, you're going to want to start looking at their analytics, taking a deep dive into how they're tracking. Each of these options here allows you to get quite granular with the application of the settings so that you can truly establish what's going on for the athlete. Looking at how that athlete is tracking over time, both in a subjective and an objective measure. I'm going to hand over to Coach Pav now, who's going to show you how to maximize and leverage groups within Humango so that you can offer different products and services for your athletes and community.
So thanks, Ray. I'm Coach Pav, and I'm going to take you through the power of groups for coaches. So groups can be used for anything as a coach, from communicating with your clients and offering them an extra level of service. It could be used for marketing, inviting people to be part of your group in an effort to keep them warm and touch them enough times that they eventually sign up with you for long-term coaching or one-to-one coaching. Or they can be used as a scalable model where you are providing zero-touch coaching. And what I mean by that is that you're not really doing any coaching with them. The AI does everything. They create their own account. They're having their AI experience, but they're part of your group, and you're imparting some form of your wisdom or coaching or methodology, whatever it is, to them. And that's the added value on top of the regular Humango subscription. So we do have another video or several videos on how to utilize groups. So I'm just going to kind of gloss over the key main features of groups as they are right now. So as you can see, you can have welcome posts, which people will see when they first join the group, featured post, which is like a pinned post. And then the feed is a bit like Facebook or Strava feed, where you can have activities or post questions. You can filter. So if I change that to posts only, you'll see how I like to use groups, which is asking questions, exclusive content, and stuff like that. You'll notice the leaderboard here. So we wanted to avoid becoming Strava in terms of just having the person with the most amount of time or the strongest athlete or anything like that. And we're releasing a few more different categories to filter your leaderboard by, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So maybe by the time you're actually watching this, there'll be several more categories that level the playing field for leaderboards. We had the group calendar where you can add group workouts. So I have my Unbroken Virtual Training Club workout of the week. Several of them, people can join this. And this is intended in my case to be virtual, but you could do this in real life. Members is obviously where you can organize and make co-leaders or mark as a coach. And resources is where you can save stuff. So maybe this is discounts to partner brands and stuff like that. So optimizing your group's fairly simple. You're just going to come here, and you edit, add in all of the different bits of information for your group, pictures, logos, what sports you cover. So that's it. It's the groups in a nutshell. As I said, there's more videos in the Help Center for you to check out if you want a bit more of a deeper dive into how groups can work for you. So thank you for watching this video on using Humango as a coach.